Hat plant sitting in your home has already killed someone. Not in a jungle far away. Not in some rare corner of the world. In an ordinary home, with an ordinary garden, just like yours. Some of these plants are sold at your local nursery. Some are already growing in your soil right now, coming back year after year like clockwork, because that is what perennials do. They do not die off. They wait. And today we are going to walk through 12 of them, plants with real, documented cases of harming or killing people, so that by the end of this video you will never look at your garden the same way again. Stay with me, because plant number 7 has a nickname that will make your skin crawl once you hear why. Welcome back to the Plant Gardener's Guide. If this is your first time here, hello, we are so glad you found us. This channel is where we dig into everything that grows from the soil, plants, food, history, and the strange stories hiding behind them. If you are a returning viewer, welcome home. Today's topic is heavier than usual, so grip your cup of tea and let's get into it. Number 1. Foxglove. This tall spiky plant with the bell-shaped flowers is a favorite in cottage gardens because it looks soft and romantic. But foxglove contains compounds called cardiac glycosides. These are chemicals that directly affect your heart rhythm. Eating any part of this plant, even a small amount, can cause nausea, blurred vision, and a heartbeat that becomes dangerously irregular. Doctors actually use a purified version of this compound in heart medication, which tells you how powerful it is. The dose makes the difference between medicine and poison, and foxglove growing wild in your yard does not come with a prescription label. What makes it trickier is how often it self-seeds. You might plant one foxglove near the back fence, and within a couple of seasons it has spread quietly along the border without you doing a thing. Gardeners are usually drawn to it for the height and color it adds to a bed, and most people who grow it never have a problem. But poison control centers still log cases every year, often involving toddlers who pick a flower and put it straight in their mouth the way curious kids do with anything bright and interesting. Number 2. Oleander. If you live somewhere warm, you have probably seen this shrub lining highways or growing in someone's front yard, thick with pink or white flowers. It looks tough and cheerful. It is actually one of the most dangerous ornamental plants in the world. Every part of oleander, the leaves, the stems, even the smoke if you burn it, carries toxins that attack the heart. In parts of South Asia, oleander seed poisoning has been linked to thousands of cases a year, some of them fatal. Children are especially at risk because a single leaf can be enough to cause serious harm. If you have oleander in your yard and small kids or curious pets, this is the plant to watch closest. One detail that surprises people is that oleander is drought tolerant and nearly indestructible, which is exactly why cities and homeowners love planting it along roads and property lines. It barely needs care. But that same toughness means it is not going anywhere once it takes root, and pruning it without gloves can leave your skin irritated from the sap alone, long before ingestion ever becomes a concern. Number 3. Monkshood, sometimes called wolfsbane. This one has a name straight out of a horror story, and honestly, it earns it. Monkshood grows tall with hooded purple flowers that look almost majestic. But every part of this plant, especially the roots, contains a toxin called aconitine. There are documented cases of people mistaking wild monkshood for edible plants while foraging, and paying for it with their lives. Symptoms start with numbness around the mouth and stomach pain, then can escalate to heart failure within hours. This is not a plant to touch with bare hands, let alone taste. Even brushing against damaged leaves or broken stems can let the toxin absorb through your skin, which is why experienced gardeners always wear gloves when trimming it back. It is often grown for the dramatic color it brings to late summer borders, sitting quietly beside far more harmless flowers, which is part of what makes it so easy to underestimate. Before we continue, if you are learning something new right now, drop a comment and tell me which plant on this list surprised you the most. It genuinely helps us know what to cover next. And if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and tap the like as well. It costs you nothing, but it means everything to a small channel like ours trying to grow. Alright, let's keep going, because the next ones might already be in your kitchen. Number 4. Rhubarb. Yes, the same rhubarb you might bake into a pie. The stalks are fine to eat, that is not in question. But the leaves are a different story. Rhubarb leaves are loaded with oxalic acid, a compound that forms sharp crystals capable of damaging your kidneys and irritating your throat so badly it can swell shut. Most home gardeners know to avoid the leaves, but every year there are cases of people getting sick because they assumed if the stalk is safe, the whole plant must be too. This confusion tends to happen most during harvest, when someone cooking a large batch tosses the leaves into a compost pile or, worse, into the pot along with the stalks without thinking twice. Number 5. Lily of the Valley. Those tiny white bell-shaped flowers look like something from a fairy tale, delicate and sweet-smelling. Underneath that charm is a plant containing dozens of different cardiac glycosides. Every part, the leaves, the stems, even the water in a vase holding cut lily of the valley, can become dangerous. Symptoms include vomiting, an irregular heartbeat, and in severe untreated cases, this can be fatal. It is a perennial that returns every spring without fail, which means if you have it, it is not going anywhere on its own. Because the flowers smell so pleasant, people sometimes bring cut stems indoors without a second thought, placing them on a table where a curious pet or small child can easily reach the water itself, which carries the toxin just as much as the plant does. Number 6. Castor bean. This plant is often grown for its dramatic, almost tropical-looking leaves. But its seeds contain ricin, one of the most potent natural toxins known to science. A single chewed seed has been enough to cause severe organ damage in documented cases, and multiple seeds can be lethal. The scary part is how ordinary the seeds look, small and mottled, almost like a decorative bean. If you have children who explore the garden with their hands and mouths, this is a plant worth knowing exists. Castor bean is often planted purely for looks, since the tall reddish leaves make a bold statement in a border or along a fence line, and many gardeners grow it for years with no idea the seeds carry one of the most researched toxins in modern science. Number 7, and this is the one I promised you. Wolfsbane again shows up under a different folk name in old stories, the Queen of Poisons. That nickname comes from historical use as an arrow poison and even, according to old records, as a method for poisoning enemies in ancient times. Modern toxicology confirms what those old stories hinted at. Aconitine from this plant binds to channels in your nerve cells and locks them open, disrupting the electrical signals your heart depends on. It earned that fearsome nickname the hard way, through centuries of real harm. What makes this section worth repeating is that the danger has not faded with time. Modern case reports still describe people collapsing within hours of ingestion, and toxicology testing has confirmed aconitine in the body long after death, proof that this ancient reputation is backed by very current science. Number 8. Angel's trumpet. This plant produces huge, trumpet-shaped flowers that hang downward and release a strong fragrance in the evening. It looks like something out of a botanical garden brochure, but it belongs to the same family as some of the most psychoactive and dangerous plants known, and it contains compounds that affect the nervous system, causing confusion, rapid heartbeat, and in some documented cases, death. Because of its dramatic scent and appearance, people are sometimes tempted to experiment with it, and that curiosity has landed people in emergency rooms. Unlike many plants on this list where poisoning is accidental, Angel's trumpet cases often involve people intentionally seeking out its effects, drawn in by stories they heard online, only to discover the line between a mild experience and a medical emergency is far thinner than they expected. Number 9. Giant hogweed. Unlike the others on this list, this one will not necessarily hurt you if you eat it, because you likely never would. The danger here is contact. Giant hogweed sap contains compounds that react with sunlight on your skin, causing severe burns and blistering that can leave permanent scarring. It can grow over 10 feet tall, and once established as a perennial, it keeps returning and spreading. Simply brushing against it on a sunny day has sent people to the hospital with burns that look like they came from boiling water. What makes this plant especially dangerous is the delay. The burning sensation does not always show up right away, so someone can brush past it while gardening, feel completely fine, and only realize hours later, once the blistering has already begun, that real damage is underway. Number 10. Pokeweed. This plant produces dark purple berries that look almost exactly like something you would want to eat, maybe even mistake for a wild grape. All parts of pokeweed, the roots, leaves, and unripe berries, contain toxins that cause severe vomiting and stomach cramping, and in more serious cases, breathing difficulty. Children are particularly at risk because of how tempting those berries look. This plant often shows up uninvited at the edge of gardens and yards, and because it is a hardy perennial, it tends to come back season after season if the root is not fully removed. Birds actually eat the berries without harm and help spread the seeds around your property, which is part of why pokeweed has a habit of reappearing in new spots each year even after you think you have cleared it out completely. Number 11. Yellow dock. This one hides in plain sight because it looks like an unremarkable weedy plant with a tall stalk and curly leaves. The leaves contain oxalates similar to what we discussed with rhubarb, capable of causing serious stomach pain and irritation if eaten in quantity. It is often overlooked because it does not look dramatic or exotic, but that ordinary appearance is exactly why people underestimate it. Some foragers actually seek out young yellow dock leaves for salads, since small amounts are generally tolerated, but the plant's toxin content rises as it matures, which means a leaf that seemed harmless in spring can carry a much higher concentration by late summer. Number 12. Daffodil bulbs. We usually think of daffodils as one of the cheeriest signs that spring has arrived, and visually, that is true. But the bulbs contain a toxin called lycorin, and there are documented cases of people mistaking daffodil bulbs for onions, especially when they are stored together after digging up the garden in autumn. Eating them causes intense vomiting and stomach pain. It is a mix-up that sounds almost impossible until you see how similar the two actually look once they are out of the ground. Restaurants and home cooks alike have made this exact mistake, since a bag of unlabeled bulbs sitting in a kitchen drawer or pantry looks like nothing more than a bag of onions waiting to be peeled. So there you have it, 12 perennial plants that keep coming back every single year, some of them beautiful, some of them completely unassuming, and all of them capable of real harm if handled carelessly. This is not about fear for the sake of fear. It is about knowing exactly what is growing around you so you can make informed choices for your family, your pets, and yourself. If this video opened your eyes to something in your own garden, let us know in the comments which one caught you off guard. Give this video a like if you learned something today, and subscribe to the Plant Gardener's Guide so you never miss what we uncover next about the world growing right under our feet. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.